in. It's game number 2 in this set. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second game. Hold on a minute. I'm waiting for it. There we go. Fading in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 2 in the set between Vortix and Hut. Your grand finals for the August monthly finals. Spawning in on the north side of the map, playing in the color blue as the Holy Roman Empire, it's Vortex.
And on the other side, one game up against his opponent is going to be Hut playing as the Chinese in the red color. What do you expect from the Chinese, Drongo, over here? I mean, you are the resident China main here in the broadcast booth. What are your expectations for Hut here?
Well, I am incredibly excited about this map and about this matchup. I am thinking that there may be the potential to see a very early barracks coming out from both of these players. Now, both of these civilizations have got bonuses for their Dark Age fighting. So for the Holy Roman Empire, the big bonus for them is that they've got access to the Prelate, which is a healing unit, enables them to keep their spearmen out on the field a lot longer than other civilizations. Remember that spearmen don't do a lot of damage in the Dark Age. Only, I think it's 6 damage. Correct me if I'm wrong. 6 damage, might even be a little bit less than that. So it's not a lot of damage. Whereas Hut on the Chinese has got access to the Imperial Official, which can boost his efficiency in the early game by making his barracks essentially 2.5 barracks.
Exactly, and he can also make his lumber camp much, much better. So supporting that spearman production is also something that's a little easier for the Chinese, especially if the Prelate is healing and not boosting the villagers. That's the big thing, right? You want to avoid that Prelate really fighting, or at least being near combat, because in that case, he won't be boosting your eco.
And that's exactly it. You're drawing it away. But we've now begun to see the beginnings of the attack upon Hut and his dock. 2 scouts working their way through it. Both players with a fishing boat out. Now, I guess one of the other things to remember is that the Chinese have a faster working dock. It works 20% faster than all other civilizations. So a small little difference here that may add up to a few more fishing boats in the long run, or a slightly earlier feudal age unit. But Hut continues around, looping around the map, looking to pick up those sheep, and doing a pretty decent job because his opponent going to be focused heavily on just sieging down this central dock. I suspect we're going to be seeing a barracks drop down very shortly from Hut, as Vortix has already begun his.
Indeed. Obviously, with the Chinese, you build faster, so it's not like he won't be able to catch up. But as you pointed out, Hut, even without seeing the barracks coming from his opponent, which he definitely won't, given the fact that he's only playing with 1 scout, he is seeing the scouts torching down his dock, so he wants to do something about it, and the natural response would be a barracks from him as well.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the case. And we see the Imperial Official has now come out for Hut, supervising the lumber camp, but we'll be able to switch over between these two. One of the great things about having the Imperial Official supervising buildings so close together is you can switch between which building you want to focus it down. And we now actually see a second scout coming out of Hut in the Dark Age. Very interesting that he opted for a second scout. To me, doesn't make a lot of sense. It may have worked earlier on potentially in the build, but now he's going to have spears that are able to defeat these scouts. So yeah, to me, a bit of a brain scratcher. Let's watch and see how he plays it out.
Yeah, he might just want information, or he was scared that the dock would be lit on fire before the first spearman arrives. But yeah, he just wants us to match the numbers of the opponent here. Apparently, no Prelate to be pulled from the HRE player, but you gotta be careful with the micro here. This is where it really comes down to the micro. One bad fight and you could lose the game.
Yeah, you're reminding me of Pure Ponage right now. I don't know how many people have watched it, but Jeremy, the main character, was always talking about the micro. You got to be good with the micro. And that's exactly the case right here. It is all about the micro. It's so delicate. And we can see that that dock may be going down. We don't see any villagers pulled just yet to look to heal it or repair it up. And he's got to be so careful not to lose it. I don't think we've seen any supervision yet on the on the barracks, which means that the spearman numbers are still even at this early stage in the game. First spear does lose its life. Stabby continuing. Second spear also going to be going down, and there's so much chaos going through right now. The double scouts coming out. It looks like he's going to be able to hold on and defend. The villager does get pulled for the repair as well. Things looking good.
Yeah, it's looking good. He's now supervising the barracks out there, and you see, when you put together 2 StarCraft 2 players or former StarCraft 2 players out there in these micro wars, you will be treated with a spectacle. Now, this is where I'm getting scared, because this is something I talked to some pro players about, and this is where it's getting dangerous for the Chinese. You supervise the barracks, you lose out on the extra wood from the lumber camp, so you might not be able to non-stop produce fishing ships, and you could fall out on some eco. So you gotta be careful with this. This is why it is usually recommended to actually go with 2 Imperial officers in Dark Age, so you can keep producing spears from the barracks with the supervise, and also keep supervising your lumber camp.
Yeah, the consequence of going for those 2 or that second Imperial official in the Dark Age is that then you put yourself behind a village or even more, because now all of a sudden it's 1 less Imperial official you can make with your Imperial Academy. But now we've got more spear on spear action. Scout's looking to chase down. He might actually be able to get the final blue scout from Vortex. I say final blue scout. I think he does have a second scout that did make it out, but he's going to be retreating back away from this position, and more villagers going to be coming out. It looks like we may have a potential outpost being dropped down, looking to deny this dock potentially.
Yeah, Hut is going full aggro over here. He's realizing that his opponent, he can't really match his spearman numbers. Now with the supervise, Hut is standing on 13 spearmen as opposed to just 8. And as you said, the prelate is the difference maker for the HRE, but it is yet to be pulled, just now arriving to the battlefield.
Yeah, he begins healing up. We have a look through the stealth forest and try our best. He's going to be pulling back the lower health units to make sure that yet less spears are focusing them down, but the numbers here looking pretty good for Hut. He's up about 2 spears, and it's going to be a force away from this position. Vortex now, unfortunately, getting really pushed back away from here, and we see villagers down towards the bottom of the screen going to be looking to drop down an outpost. Things not looking good at the moment for Vortex's Hut. Still fights on, but now more spears moving around towards this position. He's still not supervising a whole bunch of them out, sitting only on 10 spears at the moment. Vortex on 6, but the age up is in queue for Vortex.
Yeah, it's gonna come in very soon for Hut as well. Micro, once again, very delicate, isolating some of the spearmen, and it's just the pure numbers advantage. As you said, the prelate is there to heal, but many of the spearmen were already damaged, and what's probably more important is that that prelate, while healing, is not supervising or helping out the eco of Vortex, so Vortex lost out on a lot of eco by helping out those units, whereas for Hut, he didn't lose out on much, really. He just kept supervising the barracks, which is pretty cool because he just generated a ton of tax income for himself by doing that.
Well, it looks very, very difficult right now for Vortex to pull anything out of... I mean, he's going to need to pull a rabbit out of his hat at this point, because we've got an outpost that is going to one-shot fishing boats. And now he's looking to siege down that dock, and he's doing so very, very quickly. Now, as far as I'm aware, Ludicor, you might be able to correct me on this. The blueprint, I guess you could call it strategy technique, has been banned. You can't use the blueprint ghosting anymore, can you?
Yeah, you can't do that. So, indeed,
right.
In order to have the emergency repairs in, you actually have to have, like, legitimate buildings out there. You can't just creep your way up there.
Well, speaking of legitimate, we might have legitimate concerns right now for Vortex. Things are not looking good for him. He's managed to get this second dock up. There it goes. But still, the spearman numbers are looking very, very healthy for Hut. And one of the big factors that he's also done is delayed the galley that was coming out of that dock. But now we see
that's the big factor.
Yeah, it really is quite big. But now we've got the junk out. It's going to be looking to try and snipe down this position, and the spearman going to be able to move out. He just needs to hold on until this galley comes out. It looks like it's about 15 seconds until it does. Should be able to get the galley out, and that should, hopefully, for Vortex, be able to keep him alive in this game. But now we can see the spears working their way through the enemy spears. Still yet to see the galley come out. It's going to be a couple of seconds. There we go.
Oh, you gotta be careful, because the galley could also be torched down here by the spearman, but as you said, finally galley pops out, spearman of Hut getting forced back, but the damage done here to Vortex is pretty massive. His fishing eco was idle for a time being, he had to make a second dock, and I think that there's a second galley, or a junk actually coming out indeed already for Hut, so he's gonna have the numerical advantage, and that's going to be difficult for Vortex to cut into.
Yeah, I think had Hut stayed in the Dark Age for a little bit longer, committed to a few more spears, he could have just overwhelmed this dock completely. So perhaps something that he neglected to really think about. But now looking to try and take out the fishing boats of his enemy, doing a decent job. There's 3 fishing boats in that dock. He's going to be looking to try and take out more of them. We're still yet to see Vortex diversify into any other units, just still sticking with the spears. No archers at all, but he's thinking about a castle age. More than 800 gold in the bank back at home.
In the meantime, Hut is pulling fishing ships here to repair his junks. One-on-one, the junks will lose to the galleys out here, so Hut needs numbers advantage, or he needs the power of the repairs So far, it's essentially a stalemate on the spawn, both sides sniping some fishing ships from the other, but Spearman once again coming in here, and really you get the feel that whoever could possibly get some damage done on the opponent's dock, or maybe even just pull away the junks and get some torches thrown on that dock, could easily swing this in his favor.
Yeah, I got to agree with you, and I think a large part of this as well is about Hut trying to get up to that castle age, because he's going to have access to war junks in the event that he gets up, and he's going to be able to outdo his opponent on water easily with those war junks.
Yeah, but you're saying that, but look at the resources. Hut is not the one closer to castle age, it is Vortix. That's where the 40% extra boost comes in for the HRE, because Hut doesn't want to go castle, he wants a Barbican. Uh-oh.
It's gonna be the Song Dynasty, and look at the villagers getting...
Yeah,
he's trying to focus down the villagers. Yeah, I think he's just committing to him here, but he says, you want to bring him in? Try it, mate. Try it, and I'm going to siege you down, and he's still committing to try and take it down. The third galley going to be coming up, but the spears on the shoreline going to be effective at dealing with this.
Uh-oh.
Once that Barbican
Lord,
comes
that
up...
smile upon us. That's not going up.
Oh, my lord, it's terrible. Hut's down to 26 villagers. It might be a good game right here. He started off so strong in this second game, but now things are really taking a turn for the worse. Vortix with more than 15 villagers on the advantage now.
Oh man, this could be a complete disaster for Hut right now. I mean, that Barbican is now denied, no chance to finish it. Yeah, he's going to pull everybody, but what's the price he's paying for this? The spearman coming from the north as well. Oh no.
The villager count just continuing to drop. He's down at 22 villagers. This has
Oh,
got to be
no.
a good game. I don't see any way out of this, Lidicore.
No
And age
way.
3 for Vortix going to be coming through any second. Look at that bad boy. It's less than 1% to go and good game gets called. Holy Roman Empire victorious over the Chinese.
Even without that disastrous Barbican, it was a long shot for Hut to do anything on this spawn. Vortix was much closer to castle. He could have gotten the first Hawk out anyways. Hut tried to pull something out of the bag of tricks here, really. But, oh man. I mean, that Barbican was just a little too close to the shore, and it ended in an utter disaster. Vortix strikes back rather swiftly, and now evens out the set one apiece.
Yeah, I mean, like, heading back to the drawing board there for Hut, I think had he looked to stay in the Dark Age for a little bit longer, really try and boost those spear numbers up a bit more, he could have looked to deny that dock and prevented any chance of getting back onto that pond, and then it would have been about fighting for the second pond. But obviously, in this case, he didn't look to do that, sacrificed a whole bunch of villagers trying to get that Barbican up, and as you mentioned, it was doubtful that it would go up, and indeed, Lord Doubt did once again shine upon us.
And with that, Vortix strikes back rather quickly. In fact, in just like 10 minutes time, he evened out the score, and this time around, he's going to be in command of the Chinese as we head to Four Lakes, the first home map of Hut, the only custom map that he has selected as his home map, and he's going to be channeling the Rus over here, an interesting civilization that some consider a little underwhelming, some consider very OP on this map. One thing is sure, you gotta be careful how you approach this game with the Rus, because you're gonna have a Juggernaut eco, but this is actually one of the interesting points of playing Rus on this one, and it actually goes into the concept that you always explain with the HRE. If your getter rates are stellar, you will deplete your resources very fast, and that applies to the Rus on this map.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You've got to be very careful. And we did see on early iterations of this map that there were a lot of fish, and now they've toned it back a little bit. You know, Biddleland got some feedback, and they said make it so there's a little bit less fish, and that way Rus aren't as strong. And that's exactly what's happened. So we've seen that the Rus fall back with regard to their power, but China definitely being a strong pick on this map. And we're going to see Vortix pull it out here. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Vortix has got, because China typically considered a throwaway civ for him. Other civ options on this map include the English, so we didn't see the English come out. But one thing to note is that by using the Rus here, means that you're not going to have the Rus on high view in the event that it does come out. So Hut definitely committing to a strategy here, and almost guaranteeing himself a loss on high view. The Rus very much considered the S tier civilization there. But what do you expect to see in this game? Do you expect to see Barbican shenanigans potentially coming out, Lidical?
Not necessarily. What I would love to see from the Chinese player is a slow and methodical approach of taking this game. I don't think they need to go super aggro. And the reason why is because the Rus often struggle to contest additional pawns other than theirs. If you take a look at the Rus, their Logio attack ships, one by one, they are rather weak. Their advantage is converting their own fishing ships into combat vessels. So they are really good at defending their own pawns, but they are rather underwhelming, pushing out for the other pawns, whether it's the opponent's pawn or whether it's the neutral pawns. So I think for the Chinese, there's a larger benefit in just slowly expanding towards those and essentially playing 3 pawns versus 1. Because obviously, while the Rus don't have to drop off the fish on their own pawns, so their fishing eco at the beginning is going to be strong, it still doesn't compensate for the opponent having 3 pawns. And especially if the Rus is not putting up that much land-based aggression, Chinese could also get away with a Song Dynasty play. So I think this is the matchup where Hut doesn't need to do anything crazy. He can play a much more methodical and slow approach to this game with the Chinese.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, we'll watch to see how Hut plays it. Before we do that, though, big shout out to Espresso with an X. Thank you very much, Espresso, for gifting 5 Tier 1 subs to the EGCTV community. Big shout out to you, mate. And I did see someone in the chat also mention that water was the least exciting part of Age of Empires 4. Well, good news for you. Water is being reworked, at least at the moment. The developers are hard at work reworking water. So I don't know about you, Lytical, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. It was something that I didn't expect the developers to do. You know, it's always very difficult when you've got a necrotic limb to just cut it off. And it definitely, you know, some people would look at water as that necrotic limb. It's difficult because some, as you mentioned, you know, the Rus don't have the capability of fighting the other lakes that belong to the opponent just simply because of the mechanics of the unique mechanics of how the civilization work.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see submarines and aircraft carriers in AOE4. I mean, I know that devs are working really hard on them. It's difficult to balance the submarines and aircraft carriers, but maybe we're going to see some of them in Season 3. But you know what else we're going to see? Aside from Salami gifting 5 subs as well, which we greatly appreciate, we're going to see...
BU2288.
Yep.
You don't miss him as well. There's lots of gifted subs coming in. Thank you, fellas. Sorry, Lytical, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just about to say... Aside from the gifted subs, we're also going to see not 1, not 2, not even 3, but 4 lakes as we jump into game number 3.
I can't believe you did me like that, Lytical. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3rd game in the series between Hut and Vortex. This is your August monthly finals, the first series, a best of 7. Spawning on the south side of the map, playing in the color red as the Rus. We've got Hut.
And on the northern side, it is going to be in command of the Chinese, Vortix playing as the color blue. Obviously, 2 civilizations with red flags each, so we had to choose one player that is going to play blue and the other one's gonna have to play red. Such is life. It would have been worse if one player was orange and the other one was red, I feel.
Oh yeah, that's terrible. You know, something that I noticed, now, maybe I'm just a little bit paranoid here. Something I noticed French players were doing to me on the ladder. So when you pick your color in ranked on the ladder, it shows up, right? Like you can see, oh, your enemy's picked green. And then that blanks it out so that they can't pick green. So you know what the French players do? They pick teal because it's really close to green. So then when they come and raid you and you're looking at the minimap, you don't know where the raid's happening. You hear the alarm going off or you might see a little bit, but they're just so sneaky about it, those damn French players. So now I've had to stop picking my color. Yeah, it can be difficult to differentiate it. But fortunately, as you mentioned, there is no orange. It is just going to be blue.
I'm actually surprised that you're saying teal here, because I would have thought that the French players would be picking just hardcore green, simply because I would have thought it blends better with the minimap's green. Or is teal actually blending better with the minimap?
Oh, no, they picked teal because I picked green. And so it's very, very close to my color.
So you're telling me that you're also dirty green color pickers so that your knights won't be seen?
Green is objectively the best color, and you will take that statement. Green is it's an S tier color. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, I think Viper would have something to say about that one, but...
I think he would. Look, yellow guarantees the best spawns, that is for sure. Let's take a look over at Vortex's base. One of the interesting things I'm noticing on the UI is that there's a distinct lack of an Imperial official. Now, he's got 2 scouts out. We see these double scouts fighting it out for the moment, but where's that Imperial official? He's got no mill, obviously started off with a dock, and no Imperial official on the villages that are on the lumber camp. So how many villas does he have on the lumber camp? It looks like there's quite a few of them. Still no Imperial official in queue at all. Vortix, what is going on? This is the no Imperial official strategy, also opening with houses rather than an early village.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. I can see the village just not being picked because he needed to have the wood at the beginning to spend it on fishing ships. The IO is a bigger question, and all I can think about is that he had to go for a second scout that he would normally not go in this matchup, or well, at least on this map, because he was up against the Rus, and he desperately needed the second scout to deny the bounty, which he actually did a pretty good job with. His opponent is just at 155, only now bringing in 2 more wolves. So maybe having to go for that second scout made him feel like he doesn't want to skip another villager to make an Imperial officer this early.
My fear is that going for a second scout puts you even further behind without that IO. If that's the trade-off one has to make, you know, not having an IO for 3 minutes and 30 seconds at this point, that is a big trade-off.
I agree with you.
Yeah. It's a very big trade-off. But we now start to see Hutt playing one of his favorite civilizations. These Australian guys love to play the Rus, and we actually see him going for a very early wooden fortress on his wood line. For anybody who's wondering what an Imperial Official is, let me explain it to you. The Chinese have got access to a very special unit called the Imperial Official. And he's got lots of cool techniques and strategies that he can use, like supervision, which increases the resources that are dropped off at a building by 20%, or increases the productivity of a military building by 200. Actually, it's 150%, isn't it, Lidico?
Yep, it has recently been changed, and the reason why Drongo is so surprised that we're not seeing an IO is because at the beginning of this game, you could boost the amount of wood that you drop off at that lumber camp quite massively and make your life much easier when it comes to producing fishing ships. Now, it looks like he can sustain production, but part of the reason why Hutt is going for that wooden fortress back at home is because that way he can also increase his own drop-off at his lumber camp, and I would assume that he's anticipating his opponent to play with an IO, and he just wants to offset that wood income difference between the two players by building that tower.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So now we're going to start to see gold being taken for Vortix instead of using the Imperial Official to collect gold because he doesn't have an Imperial Official. Golden Gate going down for Hutt. Vortix on the other side, going to be looking, I suspect, to drop down an Imperial Academy. Indeed, it is going to be. Now, it could be some sort of advanced strategy where he's just like, well, I did the math and going for an Imperial Academy just works out better because then that way you can get more villagers out of it. You know, it kind of makes sense, right? Like, sure, you're buffing up your wood gathering in the early game, but you're also down one villager if you were to think about it that way. And, you know, once Song Dynasty comes in, technically you're down, 1.5 villagers.
Indeed, but for the time being, it looks like both players tried to get a dock on the opponent's spawn. Hutt's villager was found, so the scout is going to chase him back to the base of Hutt. Whereas on the other side, I mean, Vortex is desperate, but Hutt has these sections of walls up, so there's just no place to place that dock at for Vortex. He's trying to find one, but I mean, it's getting pretty obvious for Hutt that there is a villager creeping up on him at this point.
Yeah, good luck getting through those walls as well. Those are the fortified palisades. Only the Rus have access to those, and they are double the HP of a normal wall. So it's going to take extra power to get through those.
And imagine Rus stone walls, right? Cuff, Paskaya Tower.
Imagine. But we do have the Imperial Officials now coming out for Vortex. He's going to open up with just 2 Imperial Officials, and it also looks like he might be thinking about heading to Song Dynasty. He's stacking up plenty of gold, plenty of food as well. So I suspect it's going to be the next target, but over on this other side of the map, we see Vortex looking to expand to the same pond that Hutt is seeking to expand as well.
Yeah, the thing is that you won't be able to stop that Chinese builder with just 1 scout. He just builds so fast that this dock should go up, and you see, oh, Hutt, he's going to aggro the boar!
Oh, you're so cheeky, Hutt. I absolutely love it. Oh, he's so smart, isn't he? Look at the boar. Go, get it! Marine Lord's... Like, I shouldn't say that, but the boar going to be able to take out the villager. Oh, so cheeky. And now he should be able to get a Lodger attack ship over here in time. So the only way to deny that deny that dock would be bringing more than 1 villager, because as soon as that villager arrives, it's just going to be killed immediately.
Yeah, that is just so sad here for Vortex. If it was only the scout, he wouldn't have been able to deny this, but the boar helped out so much. And as he said, first Lodger attack ship comes in, that should allow him to snipe the villagers immediately. And there is not much hope for Vortex to get that dock up on the left-hand side pond.
All right, well, it looks like double scout working together against that single scout, but hold on a minute. We've got a villager moving in from the top side. Hutt, got to be careful with that scout that remains in the Lodger attack ship. Got to be looking to deny out this position, almost taking out that scout. Villager comes out and this dock going to get cancelled. Thank you very much. I'll take this pond for myself, says Hutt.
That's a big one, because one of the weaknesses that we talked about with the Rus is that their expansion to these pawns is bad, because their combat ships are individually rather weak. So if you build docks at the same time, the junks will beat your Lodger attack ships. But if you're able to deny the opponent's dock like that, suddenly the Rus will secure a second pawn that's very big, because you're going to have a much better setup food eco-wise, And that's showing. Look at the resource bank of Hut. Not only is he playing 2 TCs and 2 pawns, he's going to beat his opponent to Castle Age by a massive margin.
Yeah, this is quite a huge lead that he's got here. And keep in mind, he's playing this as the Chinese, so he builds that landmarks extra quickly. I'm curious to see whether he supervises a couple of monks out of the monastery, because there's no military on the field for these guys at the moment. He's got nothing stopping him.
One villager and a dream. This is what we're looking at right now. I mean, ambition is definitely not something that Vortex has a shortage of. He's going to try to get a dock on the backside.
It's the Imperial Palace. Nobody expected the Imperial Palace coming out from Vortix.
The dock.
Oh,
it could go up.
Did that dock? No, I think he's going to scout the villager for sure. There's no way
he went away with the Logio attack ship. It's patrolling. He's going to get there in time.
Yeah, he'll get this easily. Now the attack. Oh my lord, look at that villager build though. Jeez Louise, it's got some speed on it, doesn't it? Villager going to be going down. Dock going to go up. Very doubtful, unfortunately. And surely that gets cancelled.
Yeah, it's gonna get cancelled. I didn't even think that Vortex will have enough resources for Castle. I thought he was just going Song Dynasty, but I was wrong. And look at that, on the other side, High Trade House is the landmark of choice. I guess, as you said, because Vortex could supervise some monks out to just take away some of the relics, it makes more sense for Hut to get the guaranteed gold from the High Trade House and still yoink 1 or 2 relics by dropping a monastery and then going warrior monks.
I agree. It's dangerous at this point. He is the second to age up, but hold on a minute. Let's head back to that high trade house. We might have a little bit of a deny coming through here as the Palace Guard is moving out. He's slowly doing damage, but it's not going to be enough. And the high trade house comes up. 130 a minute. Not terrible. He's only on 210 bounty, though. So once he kills a boar, that will go up to 250, and then that will bump up the amount that the high trade house has got. So it's the gift that keeps on giving.
And the thing is that he's going to have a non-stop spawn of deer. So he's going to be buffered up. Even if he loses some of his fishing eco, it's not like his complete food eco is going to collapse. So he's got a nice fallback option with that too. So kind of like the addition of the high trade house here for Hut.
Night numbers looking pretty healthy for Hut, as he's looking to clear up these Palace Guards. Keep in mind the Palace Guards are a faster unit than the Men-at-Arms, so going to be able to run away, at least for the most part. Now, on the other side of the map, Vortex doesn't seem like he's gone for a monastery just yet. We'll have a quick squiz at his base and see exactly what he's got. Oh, Spearman, it seems, going to be the way that he's going.
I mean, he has to. He's facing so many knights here already.
Yeah. And now Spearman looking to hold on. Town Center going to be providing some covering fire. The Knight was doing a little bit of a dance back and forth, but still it looks to hold on. Has he got the upgrade? I can't tell if he's got the veteran upgrade just yet for these Knights.
He has. They're a little bit more silvery looking when they have the veterancy, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, it looks like a couple... Oh, my lord, that's a lot of villagers now. Villager count for Vortex, 52, going to continue declining. Hut on the other side, 62. So he's got a nice little lead there.
And keep in mind, his fishing ships are much better than the ones from Vortex right now. Nice little brace by the Spearman, but insufficient numbers. He's trying his best to keep squeezing out Spearman, but you see the Knights are just rampaging his base, picking off an IO as well. That's a great target and a great pickup by Hut. Good momentum on the side of the Australian here.
Yeah, and he continues attacking the gold mine. A beautiful attack. Great timing on this one. Keep in mind, he's got a second town center behind this, focusing all of his resources, it seems, just on the Knights for the moment. And that's all that's in queue. He's also got a Warrior Monk in queue, but now dropping down Archery Rangers. So looking to begin diversifying his interests, turning his attention towards that dock. Probably just looking to bring the spears out here. Those are veteran spears, so you do not want to mess with them because, as you see, they shred through those Knights very quickly.
Indeed they do, but the thing is that Hut has the step advantage here. Not only is he raiding his opponent, stretching him out so much, he's forcing him to go mass Spearman, and that plays right into the hands of the Rus, allowing him to make an easy and rather swift transition to Horse Archers. Vortex is in trouble here. He's struggling to clean up the Knights, and he's yet to find out that he's about to face Horse Archers soon.
Oh, the villagers going down. A lot of spears, though. They're going to find a nice little sandwich. Hold on a minute. I said sandwich, but... now they're coming back towards the woodline. Oh, just beautiful micro coming out from Hut. Just unfortunately for Vortex, doesn't have the APM, it seems, to split these spearmen up adequately. Imperial Official going down in classic Imperial Official fashion. More spears moving towards those villagers, looking to keep them safe on the south side as those Knights try and pick them up. Look at the Knight numbers coming out right now for Hut. This is ludicrous, Ludicor.
It is such a good setup for him. He knows fully well that the Palace Guard is gonna be the opening for the Chinese player, preemptively countered that with the Knights, and now he's got the mobility advantage. And the thing is that, as you said, Vortex is just forced to go full Spearman, and look at that. Horse Archers already making an appearance on the battlefield. Vortex confined into his own base, yet to start picking up relics. He can hope for a great fight here, but even that is gonna be insufficient. Hut actually gives him one.
Yeah, those knights typically aren't the best units against spearmen, especially when there's that many spearmen out. So probably want to wait for a few more horse archers before engaging that. But now Imperial Official doing what it does best. Once again, going down, bring on the second one. There it goes. That's the 4th Imperial Official down this game. Geez, it feels to be good to be Chinese. Remember, with the Imperial Academy change, this doesn't really affect the Chinese economy that much. You can just rebuild your Imperial Officials.
You know what affects them? Being down to 50 eco as opposed to 74. That's what affects them. These raids, they have taken a big toll on Vortex's eco. He's missing out on all the relics, lost 4 IO, so he's losing a lot of efficiency right now in his eco and production. And his eco is just a train wreck right now. And you get the feel that Hut has such a massive momentum. Even with that war junk out on the left-hand side pond, it's too little too late for Vortex.
It definitely feels that way. And one of the things to note is that Vortix was looking to deny that pond from Hut. Hut never took it. He put a dock out and that was it. But speaking of all it was, Knight's getting a beautiful surround. Horse archers on the backside. This could be it right here. If this goes down with the way that it's looking, that Barbican manages to get up, but it's not going to be nearly enough. Villagers going to be going down as well. Hut cleaning house, and it looks like it might be a quick 2-1 in this game. Indeed it is. Good game gets called. Hut is your victor, the Australian sensation.
Once again, spectacular game from Hot here. Terrific performance. We've been talking about this guy as one of the most under-the-radar players when it comes to possibly qualifying. He got knocked out in the June monthly by Vortex himself 3-0. Never won a single set against Vortex in his career. And now he's up once again 2-1, and it's the confidence that he's playing with. It's spectacular, really. His game plan is there. His micro is stellar. That's probably the biggest thing to talk about. This game, that Knight micro, was absolutely stellar.
One of the things I loved about this was the great bait over on that western pond. We saw Hut deny the dock and then pretend like he was doing something over there. His enemy couldn't scout him. You know, Vortex was just sitting there kind of questioning, oh, there's a big expansion over there that I could go and attack, because he knew he couldn't attack the south pond. So he's just going for the west one. And he ended up committing. He got that dock up. He built a war junk, and there was nothing there.